Devante, it's back here in the back. Emotions still raw right after the game. Just what's going through your head as that alma mater's playing that final time, you in a Grambling uniform?
Man, I really wanted to win another championship. My last year, I wanted to go out with another championship, and plus I wanted my teammates to have I feel like that was going to stem me from leaving. That's my little goal, because that was my plan. But God had different plans. So when I was standing there, man, it was overwhelming, because my college career really over. And, I wish I had another year of Grambling, at least to play one more time, because it was an amazing experience.
Last question right here.
Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. This is for all the guys. You played the MEAC champion the last 2 years. What do you all think about this rivalry between the MEAC and the SWAC?
You're not done. It's the best on the best. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best.
All right. That concludes the first part of the press conference. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Great. Thank you. And next part of it, we still have the Grambling State press conference. We have Coach Robert Bob. Coach, could open with an opening statement, please.
Well, what a football game. It was two heavyweight contenders going at it, two champions going at it, and we stopped them in the red zone. They stopped us in the red zone. They turned us over in the red zone. We turned them over. They just stopped us one more time than we did. And, it hurts. It takes a real man and a group of men to put yourself out there and, to be told, no, you can't have it. So I'm very, very proud of my team and coaches for what we've been able to accomplish. And it's been a great ride. I take my hat off to North Carolina A&T, great program, very disciplined ball club, great coaching staff. They did an awesome job, and they deserve to win today.
Okay, open to questions.
Hey, Coach, what were your thoughts on Hey, Coach, what were your thoughts on the mistakes in the ball game, and what do you think happened on those particular plays?
Well, it happens. It's sometimes you fumble the ball, sometimes you drop a ball, sometimes they make a really good play. And one time I thought they did a really good job of stripping us. They stripped Martez one time and created a turnover, but we got ourselves out of that hole. The second time, they were able to get something out of it. So, I've said all along that this game is about execution. If you have two evenly matched teams that are great athletically and are playing extremely hard and extremely disciplined, then it boils down to execution. And if you take away 10 plays in that ball game, that's the difference in the ball game, about 8 to 10 plays. And that's the way it goes in championship football.
Question in the back. Please state your name and affiliation, please.
Coach Tim Owens, G-Men Nation, KTAL in Shreveport. This senior class, it wasn't a big class, but they meant a lot to you. This was your first class. Just talk about them, your feelings after the game and your emotions after the game, seeing them go out.
Well, it's one of those situations that you want to win it for them, because they work so hard. It's a shame that only one team can be the champion, because both teams put it out there from last January all up until this point. But like I told them, they're still champions. They came up short tonight. It is what it is. We finished 11-2. Our goal was to play 13 games. We played 13 games. Our goal was to be in double-digit wins. We were. Our goal was to win the conference championship. We did. And it was just one goal that we came up short. And at the end of the day, I'll take 3 out of 4.
Question in the front.
Jason McDonald, Core 360 Sports. Coach Fobbs, this game was a huge game. It's been built for the last 3 years. Talk about the impact of a game like this with the competition that you face today. that it's going to have on recruiting and HBCU football overall?
It's huge. It's huge for recruiting. I think, when you look at the caliber of talent that was on the field today, I think it speaks volumes about our league and the MEAC conference as well. It's a lot of really good players and a lot of players that can make plays. And at the end of the day, I thought that they really got after us up front. They made us one-dimensional. We couldn't really, have a balanced attack and forced us into situations, second and long, third and long situations where Devante had to be a magician. And, it's tough to be a magician, all the time. And we came up short.
Question about
Daniel Brown, KTBS Shreveport. Coach, you kind of just touched on a Devante special all in his time at Grambling. How much are you going to miss him next season?
I'm going to miss him a lot. He's, the last 3 seasons we've had the Offensive Player of the Year at quarterback, on our team, whether it was Jonathan, Williams, or whether it was Devante Kincade. So, there'll be someone else. There'll be another person. And we'll keep rolling and keep doing what we do.
Coach Rory Sharrock, News Star. On a positive note, just a couple of years ago, the program was in disarray. There was a lot of chaos. And here we are, fast forward a couple of years later, consecutive Celebration Bowl appearances and a championship last year. Can you kind of comment on that and just the progression of the program over the past couple of years?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm proud. I'm proud of our coaches and players for what they've been able to accomplish. When you look at this team, I asked the question last week, how many guys had lost more than 5 games on our team, and there was only 2 guys that stood up. So everyone on our team has won at least 7 ball games or more, which speaks volumes. They're a bunch of winners, and they fought to the end. It boiled down to execution. They made one more play than we did. We turned the ball over. Execution, 8 to 10 plays, and that's the way championship games are. It's 3 to 5 to 8 to 10 plays, and that's it.
Coach Fobbs, Donald Ware with Box to Row. What did you see when with Cartwright and the fumble that was ultimately called an incomplete pass? You guys challenged that.
Well, I thought the first time I looked at the replay, it looked like he caught the ball. And my thing was, it was a minute left on the clock, and I wasn't going to sit there and hold my time out. So I said, hey, I'm going to just throw up a prayer and see if it was a catch, But then after I saw the replay again while they were replaying it, I said, okay, well, I'm going to lose my time out because it was a drop, But, you gotta empty your bullets. You got to empty your bullets and throw it out there and see what happens. And, we came up short. He's had his hand up a long time.
Young lady on the right.
Okay. Hi, Angela Davis, Jersey Girl Sports. Kincade talked about the feeling of family. They talked about brotherhood. For those students, athletes who are at D1 schools who are considering Grambling possibly after these past 2 seasons, and or the students who are looking to make a choice, what would you say to them? What is Grambling offering that maybe some of the other schools?
Great question. I think the thing that's unique about our program is, we pour into young people the right things. I tell people all the time, light serves 2 purposes. It can blind you from the truth, but it can also shed light on the truth. And I think from time to time, a lot of times universities shed light on facilities and uniforms and waterfalls in the facility and lockers with stainless steel, flat screens and things like that, and you can't take any of that stuff with you. The only thing that matters is what you're pouring into a young man, educationally, development as a young man, and then football-wise. And I think sometimes our kids are thirsting for that, and we've been successful at doing that. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. When you walk out the door, the only thing you're doing is renting the facility for 4 to 5 years.
A couple more questions. Right here.
Ivan Mazel, ESPN.com. Coach, you've been in the playoffs. You've now been here twice. What's valuable about this experience to your guys that that you get that you wouldn't get in the playoffs?
Yeah, the thing that's great about it is it's a bowl experience, and it's what the FBS schools get an opportunity to do that schools on our level don't necessarily get an opportunity to do. So you get to play in a huge venue. It's a great experience. You get to see different historical monuments, and it's a great deal, for us. And then the check is not so bad either.
Coach Fobbs, Charles Bishop, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Many of us were really looking forward to this matchup, A&T's vaunted offensive line versus your defensive line. Talk a little bit about the play of your defense.
I thought our defense played stellar. I thought we put them in some bad situations, and they fought their way out of it and got us out of holes from time to time. And they really got after them. I thought our defensive line did a really good job of getting after them. They had some drives, a couple of drives in there where they were able to run the football and make some plays. But I thought their D-line was more dominant against our O-line than our D-line was against their O-line. But I still think our defensive line was very dominant. At the end of the day, they made a couple plays, and I'm okay. I'm okay. It hurts, but seeing those three back there crying, that's what's tougher for me to swallow than anything else. Because I know how much they put into it. Because Daddy is gone a lot, so I wanted it for them too. This thing it's huge for the players, it's huge for the coaches, and it's huge for the families, and they deserve to be called champions. We just fell short of it.
Okay, last question in the back.
Coach Mike Washington, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports, KCOH Houston. The first half, limited possession, time of possession. Second half, that kind of turned around a little bit. What specific adjustments did you make to your team offensively that kind of turned the tide a little bit?
Well, they were dominating the field position as well as the time of possession. We really got into our RPO game in the second half, mixing in our runs with our passing game, which kind of kept them off balance a little bit. They kind of had us on our heels a little bit early because they're a cover 4 zone type of team, and they came out in a lot of man coverage early. We weren't necessarily expecting that, but they kind of did a good job of mixing it up. But then once we figured out what they were doing the second half, we were able to move the football. You take away the interception in the corner that may be 3 points. You never know. But the kid made a hell of a play. So that's why they're champions. You got to make the plays when the plays are there, and they made 1 to 2 more plays than we did. So they deserve to have the trophy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our press conference. Coach, congratulations on a great season, and best of luck next season as well. If you would like to do any one-on-one questions with Coach, please feel free to do it outside the.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.